All right, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about copywriting issues as it applies to AI. And Emily, you asked a great question. We were generating images with ChatGPT of a church, for example, and church marketing. It was a full church. And you asked a question. What was the question you asked, Emily, so we can address that?
Are there any restrictions or copyright issues?
Excellent. Okay, so great question in regard to copywriting. So I will speak now. Obviously, again, all this stuff is evolving very quickly. We'll try to keep, all this stuff updated. Obviously, you guys will be updated with this, but in regard to the videos, we'll try to keep all these videos up to date with any major changes. But in regard to copywriting, if an AI creates an image, it is not subject to copyright because it is not taken from anywhere. It is generated essentially pixel by pixel. It is a novel piece of work that you directed. So no, it is not copyrighted. Now, I do think that there is a limitation there, and that is that if you are directly creating images of things that are copywritten, then you could have a copyright issue. So for example, ChatGPT or DALL-E 3, I guess, the image generation tool, will not output brands or pictures of people's faces that, are exact people, because you're then breaking copyright in some ways. Well, my brother-in-law said he was making a rewards chart for his son, and he said, hey, make a Lego set so I can include the image on the or a Star Wars Lego set. And it said, well, we can't make a Star Wars because that's copyright and we can't copyright Lego, so we can't make the image. And it's like, all right, cool. So then he just circumvented it by describing Star Wars. And he's like, make a set of colored bricks in the form of a spaceship, right? Like the box. And on the spaceship is like you know, uh, a, a person with a plasma sword in his hand. And so he just perfectly described Star Wars. And then it just said, sure, no problem. And it created a picture of a Lego set with Star Wars written on it. Like it's an actual set. So it just created the actual copywritten material. And he just circumvented its ability to, what do you want to say, identify the word Star Wars and Legos as copyrights. And he just described it and it said, sure, no problem. Now, if we went and then used that image on a website, did we steal someone else's image? No, that's still a 100% non-copywritten piece of work, but the brands in there and the words in there are copywritten, or you would be still without permission using the Star Wars logo, and so you get in trouble for that, I assume. So maybe a little bit of nuance there. Also, I'll add into the copyright discussion, I was really surprised with this. You can take any information, and we're going to go into this more when we talk about training AI agents. When you use information to train an AI, that is not considered copywriting. So for example, for those of you who've been here for a while, you know that I really like mixed martial arts and different situational awareness things. In a different life, I probably would have, like, I don't know, disappeared into the CIA or something. I love that stuff. But I was like, well, hey, I'll create like a tradecraft AI just for fun, like situational awareness. What would you do if this happened? What would you do if that happened? And I was like, well, how do I train it? Because that's not really readily available information. So I hunted down some website that specializes in this. I signed up for a subscription for a month, and I pulled like hundreds of pages off of this, just copy and pasted it into a document, and then uploaded that document to the AI and said, you know, ask quiz questions based on this and create scenarios, and the user is going to respond. And so it is creating these sort of situations and testing your knowledge of what you would do to respond, to resolve a situation, or to remove yourself from a situation. And it is all based on someone else's content. And I looked into it before making it just for fun. That was just something I was just doing to have a good time. And that is not copywriting the material. That is taking material that already exists. It would be like me reading it and then writing my own content based off of what I learned. That is basically the way, at least in the United States, that the law sees that. And that is how they're training the AIs. They're taking publicly accessible information right off the internet and anywhere else, and they're just dumping it into these models and training the models on all the information, including, I'm sure, data about you and I. And then it can output information based on that. So that is also not copywriting. Does that make sense? Good. Any questions on that? Okay, sweet. Let's move on. And if you're watching, we'll see you in the next video.